Hello, check, check, hello. I don't know. Even though it probably sounds awful, it does seem kind of weird to not say hello, have complete silence. So let's see if this goes through. I don't know. Even though it probably sounds awful. Hey,
It does
buddy.
seem kind of weird to
Do I
not
even
say
have this?
have complete silence.
Can you
So
hear
let's see
me?
if this goes through.
And does it make any sense?
Even though it probably sounds awful.
It sounds fine. Okay, well, I won't worry about it right this second.
Can you hear me?
If you can understand, then
Does it make any sense?
that's fine.
It sounds fine. Okay, well, I won't worry about it right this second. Can you hear me?
Like I said, this is kind of just a test stream.
Does it make any sense? That's fine.
Without all the bells and whistles, I'll try to get my camera and stuff set up for later, but
Okay, well, I won't worry about it.
I haven't. I want to kind of,
Like I said, this is kind of just a test stream.
slowly ramp up into doing more regular streams, but that was always my intention to do more regular streams.
Later, but I haven't.
Anyway, I am
This is kind of just a test stream.
slowly drawing a gory picture from the movie Nightbreed.
Do more regular streams.
I will give you, that's why I put the intended for mature audiences thing, because I don't know if I'll actually draw all the blood, but wait, why is it doing, oh, it's looking at the wrong monitor, that's why.
Thing.
Let's do this then. Yeah,
I don't
this
know if
is
I'll actually draw all the blood, but
from the movie Nightbreed from,
why is it doing
is it late 80s or early 90s?
That's why.
Do this then.
Yeah, I don't
So I'm gonna
draw all the blood.
draw a picture of that.
From the movie Nightbreed from why is it doing
late 80s or Nightbreed was Clive Barker, a movie that he directed. He was extremely ambitious and really didn't have the resources to execute
Clive Barker,
his vision, I think,
he directed.
in my
He
opinion.
was
And it's
extremely
kind of,
ambitious and really
it's a
didn't
movie
have
with
the
a lot of
resources
interesting ideas
to
that
execute Clive Barker
kind of don't really fit together and kind of fall flat. It's, I don't know if it's based on a book that he wrote or not. Probably.
It's a movie with a lot of
I think he
interesting
has like a,
ideas.
I haven't read Clive Barker for decades,
don't
but
really fit together and kind of fall flat.
I think he has like a
don't know if it's
lore
based on a
that
book that
ties
he wrote or
together a
not.
bunch of books.
Probably. It's a movie with a lot of
I think he has like a, do I
I
have
haven't
my
read
stream on
Clive
in the
Barker
back?
for
Decades.
don't really fit together.
Yes. Are you getting like an echo or anything? Because I can't hear it at all. Oh, I know what it is. Let's see. I think it was looping through, even though my speakers aren't on, I think it was still going through something. Does it sound better now? Echo, okay. Oh, that's why I couldn't hear anything, because I turned my speakers off, because I'm a moron. All right. Fixed. Okay, yep, I figured out what it was. Thank you for pointing that out. It's been a while. Normally I do like 15 minutes of testing the microphone and everything before I start streaming, but my 15 minutes were spent just trying to figure out what the F was wrong and not figuring it out. And I didn't want to give up, so I just... This looks very Mike Myers. That's okay. I need to not judge so much from the first 5 minutes of drawing. So how are you doing today, Carter Kenobi? You're having a good day. In my big move, I did not do much drawing at all. I feel like I don't even know how to draw anymore. This is... All right, let's just start over. Let's... But I like it here a lot more than Maine, even though not too great. Had the flu, strep, sick at home. I'm sorry about that. That blows. Right. If I stop drawing for a while, it just feels like I completely forget how to do it at all. All right, here, let's try this. Anyway, let's forget the rest of the head. Let's just draw the parts. See how that goes. But now, your favorite streamer. Wow, okay. I'm flattered, I guess. I only streamed like, I want to say less than 10 times in 23. I didn't keep track. I could probably, maybe it was more than that. It was a pretty rough year. But getting the hell out of Maine and moving to a state with lots of sunshine, I think is going to do a lot of good for me. Stream more for sure. I try. It's very nice of you to say that. I'll see what I can do. I mean, one of the big reasons for my moving to Arizona from Maine is the sunshine is hopefully will help my depression. And maybe that will lead to more streaming. I don't know. I don't feel quite as awful about this. All right, I cannot have that on. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you draw my OC character Ellie Madeline? That's a fluffy sheep girl for me. Actually, I've thought about doing a stream of just like viewer requests, like doing like 10 or 15-minute viewer requests. I'm not going to do that now. Thank you for stopping by and asking. That's a nifty little character. Lots of hair. Looks kind of like, oh, the 80s version of that Teen Titans character. But maybe in the future, I'll do like an all request stream, but not right now. God damn it. What is the name of that 80s? They gave her different hair in modern times. I can't think of. Now I have to know. See, I get so easily distracted. Starfire, yes. Starfire from the 80s. They gave her modern hair, but let's see. I need to fix my OBS setup because this is, can I? No, it's still the wrong monitor. Shit. What if I put you over here, put you here. There we go. Anyway, Starfire hair from the 80s, far superior. This is the dumbass, shitty haircut they gave her in modern times. But let's see. I think George Perez. Look at that. Look at that beehive, not beehive, but like kind of a rat's nest kind of hair. Anyway, that's what your original character made me think of, this Starfire hair. All right. I gotta fix that because when I set up my computer again, I switched which monitor was plugged into which output, and instead of just switching the cables, I decided to change it in Windows, but apparently I forgot that other programs use that information. I should have just switched the cables and I wouldn't be having this problem, but oh well. Let's see. There's another character in this movie that he tries to rip his face off, but he only rips the skin off like around the edges. It's ripped off, and in the middle is the normal face. But I really liked this look, this sort of cut off at the jaw. But yeah, it's a movie about demons, kind of creatures that live in this cemetery, but it's kind of a portal to another world, but kind of not. And this guy dies and kind of sort of joins their demon army, but he's also trying to like hang out with his girlfriend who's still alive. I just don't know how to draw anymore. I'm sorry. Don't know how to do it. This looks like a fucking Muppet. Nightbreed. Yes, Nightbreed. That is a movie from... What year was that stupid movie? Oh... A Clive Barker movie from 1990 exactly. That's why I couldn't remember if it was the 80s or the 90s. Exactly 1990. Yes. I'm drawing a character from Nightbreed, and I have completely forgotten how to draw anything ever, so this might take a little while. Hello, Dr. Demiology. Nice to see you again, I think. All right, don't worry about this shit right now. Just... Yeah, Nightbreed was a movie from 1990, directed by Clive Barker, written and directed by Clive Barker. That was very ambitious, and they just... Probably if they did it today, it would be all CGI critters and creatures, but back then it was all practical effects, and some of the monsters looked really cool, and some of them they just look like they put putty on their faces and called it a day. Your eyes are hideous. Stop having hideous eyes. I don't know how to draw eyes. I don't know how to draw anything. I should say. But yeah, as I was saying, this is mostly a test stream because I've moved to the other side of the country and I'm just getting settled into my new apartment and living in a place that has sunshine, actually. I don't know, I might get rid of those automatic sponsor posts. I might not, I don't know. Yes, I moved. I used to live in Maine and I now live in Tucson, Arizona. Hopefully don't dox me, please. Or do, I don't care, it's cool. And the main reason I moved is because Maine is so dark and depressing and the weather is so awful, and Tucson is like blue skies and sunshine almost every day. It's something like 250 days out of the year, I read. It's sunshine. And I think it does help. Pretty close. Oklahoma. Well, how about them Thunder? I hear Shea Gilgis Alexander is doing well. I haven't watched much NBA because the product sucks now. But anyway, so yeah, living in Arizona now. That's like the other side of Texas, isn't it? Oklahoma. can't get distracted and draw a map. I'm trying to draw a picture, look at a map. Do you have a lot of sunshine? The weather's been miserable, and right after I left, because I flew out on December 31st. So I have not, pretty much and I signed the lease on my apartment on the 4th, I think, January 4th. But yeah, it's like as soon as I flew out, there was flooding in the town where I lived, which hadn't happened since like the 70s, I think. Just the whole downtown was flooded. Unpredictable. Is Oklahoma like in Tornado Alley, maybe? Possibly, I don't know. Flaps of skin, flippity flap. All right, this is starting to get better. I forget that I have to like warm up and stuff, and I'm not gonna just draw okay things right out of the gate. But that's okay. I've also, since I started thinking about it, I kind of noticed that, and I could be wrong on this, and maybe it's just a weird bias thing, but I kind of noticed that almost everybody's eyes, like on the planet, everybody, are a little wonky if you stare at them enough. And it's made it difficult for me to figure out where to put the pupils so that the eyeballs look okay. Trust the process. Yes, I remember. I was watching a TV show, Hacks, which is, perfectly fine show. It wasn't amazing, but it passed the time. Anyway, and they actually started talking about one of the women there. They're like comedy stand-ups and writers and stuff. She started talking about the process. So I heard there's this NBA team and they sucked really bad, but they started this philosophy of trusting the process. And I think that's what we got to do. We just got to trust the process. And so they get kind of inspirational. It's like, yeah, we just got to, it's not going to be great at first. We got to work on it. You got to trust the process. And then the bartender comes up and says, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's the Philadelphia 76ers. That's, they had the process. And then the comedian asks, oh, well, how are they doing? He says, oh, they suck every year. And that was the punchline. They're actually doing pretty well, but they flame out towards the end of the season. But I thought that was funny. That's my relative anecdote. Man, I forgot how hard it is to draw and keep coherent thoughts going. That's okay. This is just a test stream, kind of. I don't know. I'll try to go for like an hour at least. How long have I been going? Oh, well, maybe longer than an hour. Because I feel okay. But Tucson it's a much better city for me than Maine, Bangor, Maine, where I was from. Poopy's place. Boop, 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 boop. I've been telling my friends it's not an amazing city, but it's a pretty good city that I can afford. That was important. I really, really wanted to relocate to somewhere with a beach, but it's just so expensive. I used to live in Sarasota, Florida, but it's too pricey, and the state of Florida is just so hostile to the LGBTQ plus community right now. It's absolutely insane. I really didn't want to leap into that fire, that shitstorm. I still have some friends that live there that said it's pretty bad. So I went to the middle of the desert instead. And they I just searched, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna talk about my move because that's what's on my mind. I got nothing else to talk about. I do have a friend who moved to Michigan about a year ago. Didn't really inspire me to get out of Maine, but it really kind of prodded me. It's like, okay, now these friends that I hang out with are gone, and they went on to a place where they'll be happy. I really need to get out of here. But he moved to Michigan, which is just as cold, if not colder, than Maine. But he's happy there, or they are happy, I should say. There we go. Feels like this person's ears are pinned way, way back. It's almost like they don't even have ears. It's more bicycle friendly, actually. It's a very, very bicycle friendly city. And I love riding my bike around. There's they call it the bike loop, a bike trail that goes all the way around the city. It's like 130 miles. And it has a better bus system than Bangor, which isn't saying a whole lot because it's an actual city. It's not a little. I think Tucson has a population of like 500,000, and Bangor has a population of like 60,000. So it's pretty big difference right there. But you have and the buses are free. It's something they started during the pandemic. They just kept the buses free for the foreseeable future, which if you don't like to drive, and I don't really like driving, it's pretty sweet. But yeah, it's I would say it's more bicycle friendly than it is walkable because it's a pretty big city and stuff is far apart. And there's just more stuff to do. And I'm still acclimating myself. And all right, this person looks, the hair is not really doing it for me, but don't worry about it too much. I know they've got cool. Oh yeah, as I was saying, like it's not an amazing city, but it's a pretty good city for me. And just has a lot of features that I think are really good for me personally. Like it's so many bike trails, and all the roads in the city are not all the roads, but a lot of the roads, they have bike lanes and they have crosswalks specifically for bikes. And I think once a year they have this big shindig that draws thousands, I don't know, draws a lot of people on bicycles to ride around the loop. So that's pretty cool. All right, we need to. What are we gonna do here? If we, whoops. I don't know if any of you folks have been watching my Instagram, but I've been more or less doing scenes from movies lately, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. It seems like, is that gonna work? Is that okay? So I think I'm gonna try to continue with that for a bit. It's just when I can't think of what to draw. You know, I watch movies all the time, and did that make any difference? Okay, I think just need to kind of shave that down a bit. Oh, just a bit. That's a problem. Why are things not working? What happened? Okay, there we go. That was weird. I forget what I was saying. That's okay. Let's. Oh yeah, bit of color. I'm so bad at keeping social media. Gotta check manually. I'm very bad at keeping up a social media presence. I've thought a lot about how much I just absolutely hate the hustle that you need to do to have a social media presence. And like, if I seriously wanted to try to do something, I would have to hire somebody to do social media for me, because I just want to post my pictures and that's it. I don't really know or want to like network. And here, going here, and all of that shit. And you know, I still have a Discord, but I didn't know how to like maintain a community. I really don't know. I mean, I just want to do the art thing, and it is, you know, it's still just a hobby. The problem with drawing somebody straight ahead is sometimes there are subtle differences between the right and left in the reference photo, and I like to flip it back and forth to make sure the proportions are okay, and then I forget which side is which, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not very good at keeping up a social media presence. I want the attention and the love and the adoration, but I don't want to actually interact and whatnot. Well, interacting is fine. I don't know what I'm trying to say. All right, now they look like clown ears. Just slow down. Trust the process. But, and then you overwork one side. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, I did see, I was watching a YouTube or some sort of art video. I think I was trying to figure out something about Krita, program I use. And the person did mention that you shouldn't flip it too much because you lose perspective. You should only do it occasionally, just so you can spot inconsistencies. And I've been trying to do that. But apparently I completely forgot that in this instant, and I've gone back to old habits. What do I want? I want to define this. A bit more. How about, whoops. Although it does help to have the little overview in the corner. It helps me to remember which side is which. Why don't we do this? Mm-hmm. I think I'll do. I'm just going to just do an inky layer and see how that goes. Should be okay. It is very difficult to make a big move. Am I painting on the right layer? Yeah. To make a big move, essentially across the country, when you don't have a whole lot of money. I had some savings and I burned a nice chunk of my savings. And hopefully it will be worth it. But it's tough. Because things weren't, even if I don't stay here, if I end up moving somewhere else, fulfilling my dream of living next to the beach again, things were never going to get better in Maine. I was never going to improve there. It's been a good long while since I was last around. How's it going? It's going okay. Hello, latent. It's going okay. I just moved across the country and I just wanted to do a quick little test stream. Does it still say no mic in the description? Because I plugged in the mic. I wasn't going to because I thought it's okay. I'll change that. I thought it sounded bad, but it felt weird to do complete silence also. So there you go. Anyway, I moved across the country from miserable, depressing, cold Maine to sunny Arizona, and hopefully it will help my severe depression. Latent. That's what I figured. It does still say no mic. I used to go by Serenite Bomba. His name a few months ago. I see. Well, nifty. This looks so off, but trust the stupid process. Yeah, I'm just, what's today? The 18th, I just moved in. I flew in on December 31st, and I moved into this place the 5th or the 6th. And then I had to wait few days for my stuff from Maine to actually arrive. I bought a camping cot and a little camping chair to just sit on for the few days and to sleep on while I was waiting, and they both broke. The cot was supposed to be able to handle 350 pounds, and I know I've got a flabby midsection, but it's not 350 pounds flabby. That's like 125 more pounds than I weigh. And the cot, it still broke. One of the beams just bent, and it was awful and uncomfortable to sleep in for a few days. I still haven't returned it. I need to return that maybe tomorrow or the next day. But those were awful. None of my stuff here except for what I packed in my suitcase. That looks too clowny to do it like that. Let's maybe a little sharper. I don't know. All right, we're getting there. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. I didn't know if anybody would even bother to show up if I started streaming again, but I've already got 3 people and a bot. That's going to be my new sitcom, 3 people and a bot. Various other items prevented me from watching Twitch. I was like live and I was like, oh hell, it's been a while. Might as well drop by. That's good for you. And I'm sorry things were being issues when they should not have been issues. Yeah, I mean, it happens. But I appreciate that you are sorry. I've lived in Maine most of my life, and it was always very depressing. The 5 years I lived in Florida were the happiest years of my life, and I resent going back to Maine. I wish I didn't have done that. But here's to bigger and better things. I've just been so stressed about moving and trying to pull all of that shit together. It's been kind of hard to enjoy the new place, but I've only been here 2 weeks. I need to not put a lot of pressure on myself. Like, you better enjoy this or else. I do that sometimes. Why aren't you happy? Why aren't you enjoying it? But they've got a really cool board game scene, and that is a really nice way, if you like board games, it's a nice way to meet new people. What happens if I do this? All right, we're getting there. But yeah, thank you for dropping by. That's very nice of you. I didn't think anybody would. It gives me a slight amount of hope. I've been watching just a lot of Twitch people playing Mario Maker 2. I don't know why. I've never played the game, but I'm just obsessed with watching people play it. I still watch a lot of that. Moving up and down the West Coast several times a year because of college. So I'm used to moving. Yeah. Close friends in both locations. One state, the other, vice versa. Yeah, well, I don't know anybody in Tucson. I just moved here because it's, I wanted to move somewhere warm, somewhere I can afford, and that had things that would make me happy. So I'm starting completely from the ground up, but it's nice in our modern age that I can keep touch with my friends, like in Sarasota, and my friends who moved to Michigan. I just did a Zoom call with I guess it was a Facebook call with my friends in Michigan. They were really excited about the Detroit Lions, the football team, winning a playoff game for the first time since like 1990. Very exciting stuff. And they were actually at the game in Detroit. So good for them. Wonky. This is kind of making me think of the They Live makeup. I forgot that when I'm talking while I'm drawing, I spit all over my art tablet. The things you forget about. The original reference I'm using, I guess you can't really tell, but it's more feminine, but with like just sort of a short man's haircut, and I'm really not capturing that at all, but I don't want to worry about it. Nightbot isn't set up for that. Oh, touch my out-of-state people. Oh yeah, it's pretty lonely moving somewhere you've never been before. Ooh, broke your ankle. I'm sorry about that. That sucks. Yeah, when I first came here, I spent about, well, first I visited here for a week, Tucson for a week, just to see if I liked it. And then I came back for a month. That was October. And then December, I came for a month to look for an apartment. And going from like barely, pretty much just waking up and going to my recliner. And then when I finished watching stuff on my recliner, I would just go back to bed. And that was pretty much all the exercise I got. To just walking around the city, biking around the city, and just on the move a lot. It was pretty rough on my my knees. My calf just started spontaneously hurting. But I'm starting to reach a point where I've been walking and moving around enough that my body is adapting and it's not panicking. I should save. Yeah, I haven't touched Nightbot for over a year, so I don't even remember. I don't think I put anything special on there other than the sponsors and the trust the process, which I forgot was even there. I'm sure there's other cool things Nightbot can do. When I'm feeling like growing my channel and keeping up my brand, I'll fuck with Nightbot some more, try to do something. Tried to take a 5-second shortcut and it turned into a 5-month recovery. Oh, that sucks. Walking probably won't be fully healed until April. Can't wait. I hope you don't have like a football scholarship or something at these colleges. I don't love it, but it's fine. Now let's compare that to this, what we started out with. And yeah, that's a pretty big improvement. I just need to give myself time to warm up. I've never broken any bones. I'm very fortunate in that. I was working a football game when it happened. That reminds me of somebody I knew. She always overworked herself. She was working 2 jobs and she like scheduled herself to work at least 10 days in a row. It might have been more than that, but just a ridiculous number of days in a row working. And she ended up falling asleep at the wheel and running into a lamppost, and she was fine. But in my mind, any money that she might have made from working those extra days was wiped out by getting into this accident and having to pay to fix her car and whatever. I'm trying to figure out how long I think I first dropped by sometime in 2020. I have no idea. I don't know. If I knew how to figure that out, I would help you, but I don't. So I'm sure that information is out there on Twitch somewhere. I don't even know how long I've been streaming. It's been off and on for at least 5 years. Very, very inconsistent. And consistently inconsistent. All right, let's just move on to the collar a little bit. And then we can start getting to the color. Because we have to make this a bloody mess. I mean, that's the whole point of this picture. Is just the bloody mess of a chin. Oh, a thing in Tucson, very different from Maine, is the howling coyotes. I can hear them howling right now. It's 1:30 in the morning here. Not a sound I was used to. I didn't know what it was when I first heard it. I thought it was like, it sounded like a sorority, like having an initiation. It just sounded so weird because not what you would expect wild dogs to sound like. But they get excited and they just, sometimes they'll just start howling for 10 minutes. There's an external setting, CC followage if a channel doesn't have Nightbot. I'm sure there is. It's on Twitch, but I can't do it on my phone, and I don't want to go back to my PC. Broken bone to this. Had to go for overkill. Multiple fractures. Ooh. Shift happened. Oh, that's pretty nice. That is, I mean, if you can consider anything about the situation lucky, getting the workman's comp is fortunate. I don't know. This is just a doodle. I was, for a little while, I was doing pretty well with giving myself a weekly assignment. Is when I started doing the movie scenes that you can kind of see on my Instagram door. Other use, please. Never heard coyotes in person. Sometimes there's been foxes, 3 to 5 a.m. and those are always. I don't think I've heard a fox, but I feel like maybe I've heard them on YouTube and they also don't sound like you would expect. I'm familiar with raccoons. I've heard raccoons getting into the garbage many times. But yeah, when I heard the howling, I had to look up what do coyotes sound like on YouTube or something. Oh, this person kind of has sharp teeth, but I don't know if it'll look corny if I put that in there. Looks a little corny. I'll think about it. Like women screaming. I had a viewer that, and it might be one of you nice folks, that introduced me to a bird. It's like the putu or something. That sounds absolutely nuts. Or is it the potu? It's the something. Potu, yeah. the PO2, I'm not gonna. Following on May 31st of 20, so you were right, 2020. Well, congratulations, I guess. I've probably done like 30 streams in that time. I don't know. It's something that I think to myself, I shouldn't bother doing that anymore. And then I'll just kind of want to do it again for a while. It can be kind of therapeutic, actually. I suppose I could try to figure out when I started streaming at all. I do remember, like, I started streaming around the same time as I'd noticed like other art streamers, because that's what I heard. You're supposed to find other people in your community and network with them, and people who are sort of in the same audience and whatnot as you. And I, got in touch with some other streamers who were starting out, and one of them got pretty popular, not super fast, but they were having like a regular 100 viewers within a few months. And I was, I still hover years later around single digit viewers. And that's when I decided I really can't worry about when I started comparing myself to when other people started, because I will just be sad. Your nose needs work. You need a nose job. How's that looking? Should I start throwing in some color? Oh, why did that happen? It looks dumb, but just for a stupid simple fact. Whoop. Having a fairly quick recovery. Surgery the day of injury. Not having to worry about bills. Oh, that's, yeah. So a false starts. Decided that streaming just isn't for me. That's absolutely fair. It's probably not for me either, but I just keep dicking around with it. Like I said, it's kind of therapeutic, and it's some days it's motivating. Why does that keep... Is there something wrong with my stylus? Sometimes it's motivating and sometimes it's intimidating to stream. If it's working for you, then it works. Yeah. If I keep reminding myself that these things are hobbies and they're not careers, and the moment that they're not fun, I don't have to do them, then it's okay. Hopefully this will be a good year. A lot of big changes. Hopefully some of them will stick. I really want to just start coloring this, even though it looks like ass. I don't want to start adding color, so let's do that. Why not? Well, let's do... First, let's name some of these layers. My setup is a little different, and I don't have the workflow yet that I want. Anyway, It's going to be there. So what bloody color can we have? Or should we just do the sort of the fleshy color first? Not quite that orange. Not quite. Stupid Caucasian color. It's nice to actually live in a city that has some cultural diversity and isn't all New England white all the time. And that's just, you know, just function of being in a city at all. But also it's, I would say about half of Tucson is Hispanic, and that's pretty nice. It's nice to have that difference, and I don't know, I get tired of white people all the time. It makes me feel, I don't know. Well, I made a post on Facebook, and I took a picture of a mural in Tucson that was about, you know, we were living on stolen land from First Nations people and so on and so forth. And the comment I made was something like, white people are monsters or something. And Facebook flagged it as hate speech. And I kind of felt like I should have a plea where I can say, hey, I'm white, so I can say that white people are monsters. It's okay for me to do that. But I changed it. And I just changed it to, I think Manifest Destiny was a bad idea. And Facebook didn't flag me for that. I kind of wanted a little brighter. Yeah, that's good. Well, this is fun. We're having fun, right? So opinion about Facebook, they sound about accurate. How they're on it. It's just whitelist you talking shit about white people. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. I understand where they're coming from. I get it. I get it. Facebook is not what it was. It used to be a really nice way to keep in touch with friends and family, and just to know what people were up to and let them know what you're up to. And it's kind of just, the more they've monetized it and try to turn it into the, you know, I don't know what I'm saying, but it's just, so many of my friends have abandoned ship, and there's just not the audience on there anymore that there was. And the people that I liked keeping in touch with, they just aren't there anymore. But there's still some people, and it's still kind of nice. But I mean, I wouldn't be able to use it without an ad blocker. I don't know how people watch like YouTube and Facebook and Twitch without ad blockers, because they're pretty much unwatchable that way. But oh, I keep ending my sentences with but and then trailing off. I'm sorry. This isn't really green, but whatever, it's fine. I have realized on my Oculus Quest, I haven't touched that account in 2 years. Still massively popular in other countries like Philippines and Africa, but I imagine that's due to them funding the internet there. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a social network is as valuable as the social that you associate with. I don't know what my point is. I mean, it's how you curate it. And countries in Africa. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Well, actually, I have no idea if that makes sense or not. Sure, that makes sense. Let's see. What just happened? Stop it. I have to remember how to do this stuff. Why? Oh, that's why. All right, technical difficulties. Don't mind me. The pretty much like 98% of the people I follow on Instagram are artists. There's like maybe 2 or 3 friends, and then a lot of comic book artists and modern artists. And I don't use it for anything else. I don't care about influencers. And if you curate it for that, like a specific purpose like that, it's pretty nice. Work in television. Technical difficulties are a way of life at this point. Just in our modern age, that's just, technical difficulties are there, especially when like people were adjusting to like living in a Zoom world, and like everybody at some point was running into technical problems with trying to figure out how to do Zoom and how to talk to each other and stuff. And I just felt like there is no point in getting upset about this. This is just the modern world we live in. Technical difficulties are going to happen. Just got to deal with it. So, feed the robot things you like. Yeah, garbage in, garbage out, as they say. I remember I've never been able to figure out, well, not figure out, but never been able to derive any joy out of Twitter. It's always just been very bizarre and confusing to me. But there was, when Twitter first started getting going, I should not even admit this, but I'm going to, for content, I guess. Should that be darker? Maybe that should be darker. Anyway, I first signed up for Twitter to see what it was all about, and all I did was followed comedians and porn stars, and that was it. And it was kind of an interesting mix, just those two things next to each other. Like comedians just doing, gags within the word limit of, oh yeah, Twitter is. I feel bad for people who are like legitimately using Twitter as a resource for their jobs, and the platform is just tanking. For example, like a sports reporter, or maybe any reporter who use the platform to break news, hey, there's a trade going on or such and such. And I feel like that's a legitimate use of the platform that shouldn't go away. But because the entire thing is just steaming poop, it's negatively affecting their job, and probably other people, just like, streamers who announce, use Twitter as part of their social network. It's kind of a shame. Even though I had no love for Twitter and I don't really care about its demise, I do kind of feel bad for people who used it as a tool and are having that tool taken away from them. But what can you do? I did apparently Amazon Prime is going to start showing ads because, you know, they have a library of movies and TV shows that if you have Amazon Prime previously, you could watch all of these things for free, but now they're going to start showing ads in front of all of these movies or during these movies, and which is completely insane. I know they squeeze Twitch for every penny that they can get. And all I could think about was, well, geez, and it's easy for me to say as somebody who doesn't rely on Twitch, someone who just screws around with it. But yeah, I was thinking that, you know, now that Amazon Prime is putting ads into their movies and TV shows, that income, maybe Jeff Bezos can add another inch to his dick and he can finally be happy. So good for him, right? I keep forgetting which one is the richest man in the world. I thought it was like flipping back and forth between Musk and Bezos for a while. I guess it's not really important. Just maybe I'll get flagged and banned for. I saw Last Action Hero was on Crackle with ads, and that felt like that's an interesting way to watch it. That movie bombed so hard when it came out. I guess in retrospect, people are saying it's actually kind of interesting and a clever take on the genre. But it was such a bomb. That was like, did I? Yeah. Like, expectations were very high and it performed very low. I don't know if that, like, the kid from that movie ever acted again. I wonder if he did. I'm not going to look it up right this second because I'm trying to not be distracted, but do I want to add something here maybe? I feel like I should have some kind of background color. I can't stand ads. They drive me nuts. It saddens me that that's how our modern world operates, is a world with ads absolutely everywhere, and that's how a lot of good people make their income. It's by selling ads. And I just, when I'm watching TV, the only thing I watch on TV these days that I watch on live television is sports. And I mute the TV, or really it's my computer, but I mute it when the ads come on. But I guess enough people don't mind them. Post True Lies, yeah. Arnold's popularity is waning. Good movie, but it's 2 hours, 10 minutes, which is too much for me. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that was like the beginning of the end of Arnold's reign, where he could just poop in a bucket and it would sell a million tickets at the box office. That was when that started he actually had to start making, because he had a great run there for a while. What? I'm in my mind, I'm trying to go through his catalog, but yeah, he definitely had a peak. And that Last Action Hero was where people realized that not everything he touched turned to gold. What, maybe, I don't know, what color can I make the background where enhances and does not distract from what's happening in the foreground. So I'll probably and hopefully not watch another movie for the next few years. Oh, really? Are you tired of movies? You dislike movies? Burnt out on movies? I still absolutely love movies. I watch not a movie a day, but maybe a movie every, or TV show or series or something every 3 or 4 days. Whoops. This is probably fine. It's fine. His email newsletter? No. Which I read. Watching his persona shift with the times is interesting. Yeah, I have a suspicion. I assume you're talking about Arnold. His persona shift. It sounded like his governorship was a shit show. And I don't know. His politics are probably horrible. But he has an image as a stand-up guy. Good for him. I'm realizing just all these things are coming back to me about streaming. It's like, wow. I remember now talking about things I have no business talking about and having an opinion about. Film student. Watch movies for class for the past 5 semesters, tearing them apart at the seams, see how they're made. Movies and television ruined for me since I know how the sausage is made now. That's fair. That makes sense. I've just seen enough of how the sausage is made that I find it intriguing. I haven't like taken classes or anything. I did like some short films in my 20s and, just enjoyed listening to DVD commentaries and watching behind the scenes stuff. So I didn't really. Oh shit, my alarm's going off. I will be back in just a moment. Okay, I returned. My 2 a.m. alarm just went off. It's not that bad, at least what I've heard. Time speak about publicly. He talks a lot about how mental health and global warming now. It's work. Well, that's cool. I think he's always been involved with the Special Olympics, and I don't think he's a monster like other celebrities are. But it's one of those things where I have a suspicion he's probably pretty heavy Republican, but I'm not really going to dig into it. I'm not really going to worry about it. Oh yeah, I was saying I know just enough, just a little bit about how the sausage is made. My own opinions, but I gotta zip it up. Zip it up. I still love movies. Maybe whatever made you interested in being a film student in the first place, maybe that's something that you can eventually get back that joy at some point, derive some joy out of movies again. And if not, that's okay too. Wow, this looks, it's fine for like an hour-long sketch. Let's try to add some more. Screw around with the colors. Let's see what we can do. Maybe make it more. I forget I set this for opacity. So we're in sports TV. Ooh, the wild cards. almost every position at various points, so I can pick apart any sports game that I watch. I did see I've been watching the YouTube channel Corridor Crew. They talk about, VFX, special effects and whatnot. And they did do a short video about the history of sports graphics. And they, mentioned like for football now they have a computer model, a 3D model of the entire field and players so that they can do overlays. Kind of intriguing. What am I trying to do? Get a little more gory, gross. I'm trying to think about stuff that I just loved. I think for me, the thing that I used to love and I have no interest in anymore is comics. I used to absolutely love the comic book genre. I loved the field and that was my dream, was to be a comic book artist. And today I never ever read comics. I don't even like read gag a day internet comics. Interest is just not there anymore. I kind of feel like I want to tell stories and I like the format, but my interest is just almost non-existent at this point. In film, it's less in film and more in television, production, and I love my work in sports. I just really don't like being forced to watch movies. Yeah, that's fair. Ted Raimi about this now that it has color. I can see that. Do you mean Sam Raimi or Ted Raimi specifically? Because I've only known Ted Raimi as the guy who shows up in Sam Raimi movies. I'm not familiar with any other work of his and TV shows. Ted, okay. Oh, do you mean the person looks like Ted? You're not saying like the Ted Raimi genre. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, it kind of does. It's kind of looks like him a bit. I misunderstood, but now I do understand. Unless I'm still wrong. But I get what you're saying. But it's nice when watching movies in your own home at your own leisure, being able to shut anything off as soon as you're uncomfortable. As soon as you can, the moment you decide this is not for me, I don't want this, you can just shut it off and do something else. Nobody's going to force you to watch it. You don't have to write an essay about it later. I tried to watch a movie that I heard was good. I think it was like The Cook, his wife, the thief, and her lover, or something like that. And it starts out with just this really unpleasant rape scene. And I watched maybe 2 minutes of it and nope, not for me. I'm not going to watch this. I don't have to. I don't care if the rest of the movie is amazing. This opening is not for me. Not interesting in this direction. And also with what is happening there? Oh, I watched a movie in the theater we did called Skinner. It's pretty bad, but have an accidental food contamination on screen, which is something. There we go. I did. I just watched a short film. I'll try to link to it, maybe if somebody wants to watch it later. He removed his skin for me. Was that what it was? Oh, he took his skin off for me. No. Stop it. Why are you giving me a hard time? That's it, right there. It's just this little short 15-minute video. It's like a student film. Which is pretty much exactly, literally what it describes. I mean, I'll show you just the thumbnail of the... there you go. You know, that's just the cover. It's a guy takes his skin off. It's not that shit. For a woman. And then it's just like them, you know, well, I have to clean the apartment more and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And I was looking at some reviews of it, and they were talking about, you know, people making sacrifices for the ones they love and the difficult journey and blah, 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 all this shit. And like halfway watching the short film, I kind of realized, oh, this is about circumcision. I don't know for a fact that's what it is, but I kind of realized, oh, this is just like a silly extension of circumcision, somebody getting married to somebody and then getting circumcised because of religion. And they just thought that they took that idea of taking your skin off for somebody and just extended it to the whole body, and then just made a little silly... It's not done as a comedy, but I consider it silly. This needs highlights. This needs brightness. Let's really brights. Maybe that's too bright. I don't know. Let's do that. See how that... Various methods of blocking out things from my senses, from consciously causing a low rumbling sound in my ears that blocks out lower level noise, simply removing myself from the situation to just distracting myself by letting my internal monologue run rampant and distracting my senses through that. That's good that you have those. I would call those coping mechanisms. I had many moons ago, I was dealing with an HR department that was trying to force me to do something at work, just trying to force me to work hours and work in positions that I just could not do. And I had doctor's notes and everything, and they weren't backing down. And I was just sitting there in a meeting, and they were just going on and on about this bullshit, and they weren't listening to me. And I just didn't care what they had to say. And I just started staring at, like, I think I like a cup, and just staring at a single point on the cup. And it's, oh my goodness, I am going to ban the shit out of you, Mr. Bot. Goodbye. Thanks for trying. I thought I had it set so I could still see the... whatever, it's fine. I don't give a shit. But anyway, as I was saying, I just started staring at this point in front of me. I think it was a cup. And you don't really realize, or at least I don't realize, how much your eyeballs are moving all the time, and your brain just kind of patches everything together. But there is a blind spot directly in the center of your eye, for one thing. And I just tried to keep my eyeballs as still as possible, not flittering around, and just stared at the cup. And my vision, like my whole vision, it just went really weird. And suddenly I just couldn't see anything around me. It's like my peripheral vision just disappeared, and it was so weird. Use that whole getting blood drawn. I haven't done that for a while. I haven't been in a position like that for quite a while. People were assholes. I think I used to do that kind of shit in high school too. Just whatever physical, mental distraction I could come up with to get through the day because it was so awful. High school was very not fun for me. I feel like I should really give the upper part of this face some values so it doesn't look so cell shaded. If I'm going to try to add texture to this bottom part, I should add some kind of color texture to the top half as well. I think it looks really distracting otherwise. Get him. Just hear me and hammer. I actually, because I'm so tiny and it happens so rarely, I think it's funny when trolls show up and try to give me shit. I like, yeah, there's a lot of desert for nukes out here. I kind of like engaging with trolls and just fucking with them when they stop by. Bots, there's not much you can do with that except for just boot them. I think I want you, I don't know, I'm just screwing around at this point. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see, what if we do this? And we do this. Yeah, that's okay. Don't use the band hammer. I have the band pan. I should save. So you were handsome, and that's when you figured out it wasn't a person. Oh yeah. I think that was an actual human, but definitely a scammer. That's happened to me. Somebody said that to me in person. And I would like, they said, I just want to let you know that you're a handsome person. And I was just trying to figure out, what is this person, what is their angle? Why are they saying this to me? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to get from me? Because I don't believe that for a second. Recently, like within the past week, I was walking down the street and I happened to be going in the same direction as this woman. I was behind her by like 15 feet and we happened to be going in the same direction, and we like 2 or 3 turns down the street, we both went the same way, and she looked fucking terrified. She looked so scared. And like, I think we were both going to this, like, there's like a shortcut in the fence to get to my apartment complex. I think we were both headed for the same shortcut, and she was kind of freaked out. But anyway, like she kind of crossed the street and saw that I was still there, and then she immediately crossed back in the other direction. And this is something that's happened to me more often than I would like, where people are just scared of me. They just look at me and they just seem scared, and I don't know what I can do about it, how I can make people not be terrified, because I am a coward and a wimp. I'm not gonna hurt anybody, and I just want people to like me. But sometimes it's particularly women. I mean, I'm a 6 foot tall bald guy. I think just that in of itself is intimidating to people. And I don't know what's going on in their personal lives that, you know, maybe there's just certain types of men that they are intimidated by, and I can't hold that against them. Why can't I find a color that I like? But I don't know. When things like that happen, I think to myself, I am not handsome. I am fucking terrifying. I look like some sort of predatory monster. If someone tells me I'm handsome, then they are lying to me. So that's kind of how I feel about that. I think I don't want this shadow to be the same color as the hair, but really that's perfectly fine if it is the same color as the hair. I shouldn't let it bother me. That's fine. But yeah, I've had like one time I was just walking past a woman sitting on a bench in the city. This was in Bangor, and she, like, as I was walking by, she had like some books next to her on her desk, and she just kind of clutched the books as if I was going to steal them from her. And I've seen women purposely go down alleyways to avoid, I'm assuming to avoid running into me because we're walking towards each other. And I've also seen like a woman in a grocery store. She just was looking at something, and I was walking down, and she saw me and just took a step back, like she didn't want me to go anywhere near her. And, you know, shit like that. It's a bummer, but it happens, and I haven't figured out how to make it stop happening. Turned 20, I started making women uncomfortable out and about in public. Yeah, tend to linger really far away from people or intentionally stop to let them go ahead. Worried that they'll think I'm even more suspicious. Yeah, I try to be considerate and I try to be understanding. And I'm thinking for the woman the other day, I should have either just stopped and just, you know, given her 5 minutes to go wherever the hell she was going. Or I don't know if it would have helped, but I feel like I should have said something like, you know, I'm sorry if I'm making you uncomfortable. I can wait here until you get where you're going if you want. I don't know. Instead of just being quiet and watching her be scared. I think, I don't know. I feel like this is not ideal. It's kind of funny in these old movies with these practical effects, these horror movies, and you can really see where they caked on the makeup so they can make it look like something is missing, but they have to really create an extra layer to take away from. I'm explaining this very poorly, but something that they don't do now with all the CG effects. And I don't consider CG one to be better than the other, but I think if you use both of them judiciously, they can complement each other, as opposed to too much CG and it looks like crap, and too much practical effects and it looks rubbery and silly. I think there's a happy medium. And that's my very strong opinion on movie making and effects. This is... I kind of want to just completely... Let's see what happens if... Oops. Anyway, I don't know. What if... Well, I just want people to like me. That's all. Is that so much to ask? Except for like bigots. I don't care if bigots like me. Bigots can go fuck themselves. But nice people, I want them to like me. Let's see. What was I doing? Filter. Let's make a filter layer. There we go. Nope, that's not what I want. What about here? It's turning into the background color. No. Play around with it for a minute. I don't know. I think I want it a little bit more orangey. Not that bright orange though. All right. Lines. Is that better? I think it's a little better. Not quite so pale. I liked a fusion of CG and practical. As a kid, I saw the Tim Burton Alice movie in theater. First time I noticed CG looked weird sometimes. Yeah. Button. There is definitely a shift where, I mean, obviously Jurassic Park was sort of opened up the floodgates of we don't need puppets anymore. We can just do everything CG, and it overuse people who didn't actually work on the skill and craft of it and just told somebody, hey, make this happen on your computer. So is that, yeah. Yeah, that was the beginning of the end. Well, not really the end. But... So now I want to add some more to the top half. It still looks very flat. But I've got this filter layer that I want to keep those separate. So I guess I'll draw on top of it. See how that goes. A sexy woman morph into a tiger. That would be badass. I think the movie Willow was one of the first digital morphs in movies. I don't know, did they do it some way other than digital? I want to say that was like one of the first computer morphs. There's like a point at the end of the movie where the magic lady, the witch or magician or something, is trying to turn back into a human, and she morphs into 5 or 6 other creatures first. And it was probably mind-blowing at the time. It looks silly as hell today. I think that might have been the first. I don't know. Let's see how that is. That's still too much. Too much. Let's try this. It still looks funky, but I think to get the effect I really want, I would need to have to really spend intense amount of time on this picture, more time than I want to. It's really annoying when there are films where they use effects, digital effects, for things that could very easily have been done practically, like just an animal in a picture. You just like a cat walking from here to there, and it's a CG cat for no reason. They just didn't bring a cat to the set that day. That irks me. Need to make myself scarce. Need to sleep. Can ring into you again though. Take care. Well, it's nice to see you again, Latent. I can't make any promises about a schedule or anything, but I'm going to try to ease back into the streaming thing. I'm glad that some people showed up and chatted with me. I hope my downstairs neighbors can't hear me, and I hope I'm not keeping them awake, because I'm not used to having downstairs neighbors that can hear me. I don't know if I'm being too loud. I hope not. Thanks for swinging by. Take care of yourself. Let's see. What was I trying to do? What was I trying to do? I think they used CG owl at the start of the movie. I don't know. That seems like really... I guess that would have been around the era of Willow. But I don't know. I would think they'd use some other practical effect. I don't think they would have had, in Labyrinth times, the... Now I'm curious. 86. I mean, I think that's a different from morphing one animal into another, where you already have, you have 2 reference points, and you're just shifting one to the other to a completely fabricated digital creature. But I'm saying this without actually looking at what you're talking about and just talking out of my ass. So Did I spell that wrong? Yes. Oh, no, that, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's just an animation. Take a look. I see. Yeah, that is a digital owl. Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. I'm sorry I doubted you. Yeah, with Willow, I was talking specifically about digital morphing as opposed to digital. I know the first instance of oh, here, I should probably, I have to keep moving shit around because I fucked up which monitor was which, but anyway. I see what you're talking about now. Yes, this digital owl. I understand now what you're saying. But yeah. I know the absolutely first use of a digital character in any movie was young Sherlock. I've never seen the movie, but I've seen the scene where there's a stained glass window and it pops out and it becomes not real, but it starts walking around this figure from a stained glass window. That is something that I know for certain is considered the first use of a digital effect in a movie. Mist. When did Mist come out? Wow. I know when I did like some short films with a friend in my 20s, he had this idea in his head that for a career, I should start doing makeup effects, like gore, like this picture that I'm drawing here. He just seemed to think that's what I should do. But I really do not like touching strangers or strangers touching me, which is pretty much, if you're actually applying, attachments or blood or what the hell ever on people, you have to actually, touch them. And it made me really uncomfortable. So that didn't work out the way he wanted it to. This is, it's not awful, but it's not good. It's kind of turning into a clusterfuck here. So let's just, I think I want it to be brighter, but not, I don't know. I don't know what I want. Fleshy and less dead. How about this? Nope. I'm doing pretty well for a little bit with opacity, and then I kind of lost it. If I do it wrong, it just looks like a mess. And if I do it right, it looks pretty cool. Creature alone in the dark. That early CG dead thing look. Yeah. When a new technology like that comes along, and you've got people making that transition from, say, practical effects to digital, or from traditional hand-drawn animation to computer animation, what happens, I think, sometimes, sort of, is the people in the previous discipline have a lot of skills from hours and hours of practice and training that you don't necessarily need to execute the new modern way, but there are additional benefits like knowing storytelling and knowing editing because you spent so much time working on the craft that maybe somebody who's never done hand drawn just leaps into computer animation, or at least when the industry started out, they didn't really have those extra skills. I think I'm making this like a million times worse. I don't know. I know what my point is. Just can't communicate it, but it's okay. People focus sometimes on the shiny new technology and the craft of storytelling or movie making gets lost. And that's kind of a shame when that happens. I don't know. It's just dumb. But that's okay. I just suddenly decided to do a different style just to see if it would work. I should have saved right before I did that. That's okay. I guess it's coming out okay. It looks very choppy, and I don't like that. I want it to be more solid. Or not solid, but blendy. No. The medium matters less than skill, I think, sometimes. Yeah. I also feel like when you do something for the first time, you can get really lucky. Yeah. And I think also when you are first interested in the arts, the things on the surface are what you emulate first, the surface details. The flashy things are what you think is cool. And this, this isn't universally, but this is something that I have read about and heard about. And that's what you start creating is the, whatever flashy thing caught your eye to start with. And it takes time to really learn the craft of it. Some people get it and some people. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I forgot. Let's go on with that. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Michael Bay fucking sucks, is the point I'm trying to make. And he's an excellent craftsman as far as special effects go and as far as visually what's on the screen, but his storytelling is horrible. It's just unconscious. I can't say that word. It's horrifically bad, and he should be ashamed. I'm just making it worse and worse. I don't know. Should I start over? Not right now. I think when I get like this, I need to just set it aside and come back to it later. Maybe not the whole picture, but just the head. and then what works and what doesn't work will be more clear to me. Yes, trust the process. I know. Get off my ass. What layer did I put that on? Oh, okay. Let's try. I don't like. My problem is I don't trust anybody. Or one of my problems, and that makes I've been burned too many times. Screwed over too many times. I don't trust anybody. So that makes it hard to do stuff, to trust myself even. When I was looking for an apartment, there's so many scammers out there, especially online. Well, almost exclusively online because that's where everything is listed. But I think I ran into at least 4 different scammers that were apparent to me right away because I knew what to look for. But maybe for somebody who isn't as internet savvy or who didn't spend so much time looking into scams, it's really unfortunate that they're out there and harming people. But yeah, you can't trust anybody but yourself, and even then it's a little iffy. I was watching videos about scammers and like things that they would do. Like they would I should say they let's see, they would go on a tour of a house, and on the tour they would get the password to the lockbox or what have you, and then they would make their own listing, and with that password they would let people into the building, into the place, and say that they owned it. That's just one of many scams that happened. I didn't run into that one. I did run into a lot of people who they would start, I would apply to something or have interest in something, and they would start texting me, and like they'd string me along a little bit. I'd ask, well, are there hookups for a washer and dryer, and do you take pets, and blah blah blah. And then they, go back and forth a little bit, and then they'd send me a link for a credit check. Just click on this link and put in your financial information so we can do a credit check. So that happened like 3 times to me. That sucks. Yeah, scammers are, it's just, I want to tell them, stop scamming the poor, please. You can scam the rich all you want. I'm cool with that. Just stop scamming the poor. Stop doing that. Oh, the hair doesn't look too bad. It's looking okay. I'll work on the face again later. I think I can do something with those eyes, just make them a little more. Because like in my reference photo, the eyes are almost exactly the same color as the skin. But it always looks weird when I do that. I think it's better if I give them make them a little bit lighter, or even just more gray. Just making them more gray helps. And probably adding highlights to the centers helps too. Oh yeah, lots of scams. A lot of times they will list properties that they don't own, and they will tell people interested to just drive by the property and have a look at it. They won't ever actually be there, and they won't actually let you into the property. And people fall for it, and it's really sad. My mom started online dating. She's falling for scammers. Ah. But I had to reverse image search a picture of some guy's dong. Oh. Yeah. I've been looking at like online dating stuff, and it's pretty horrible, just the whole scene. And I'm hoping I can meet somebody by pursuing my interests like movies and board games and getting involved in those scenes, and maybe I can meet somebody cool. But just looking at a dating website, it's like you're just looking at these pictures of normal people, and then, at least from my end, a man looking for a woman, suddenly you see this extremely professional photo shoot of an Asian woman in front of a beach, like at a resort, after looking at, pictures of people just who look like they're in the same city as you are. And then suddenly it's just such a stark contrast. It's almost comical. Yeah, that's too much. You go away for her. And it's always Asian women too. It's like very specifically. I mean, there are other races that scammers use, but it's very predominantly Asian women who are in it looks like they're in some sort of Asian country or Asian culture, trying to pretend that they're from Bangor, Maine. I think my energy is winding down, but wow, I've been at this for 2 hours and 10 minutes for just a test stream, just to see if I wanted to stream. I'm pretty happy with how this has gone. I really hope I'm not bothering the neighbors. That's something I worry about. I just won't know if it's bothering them until like they just get super pissed off and start yelling at me or something. But I don't know. I hope it doesn't come to that. And I hope I can just still do stuff late at night, because that's just when I'm awake. I've tried to force myself to stay awake during the day, but it just doesn't happen. It just always flips around and it goes random, and it is consistently inconsistent like everything else I do. I'm just going to add a little bit more shading to this color, this shirt, and then call it a night. See, this is why I keep coming back to streaming, even though I'm inconsistent with it. Sometimes it's just nice. Wendy, Karen Rancester. Oh, woke up too early and saw you were on. Oh, hello. I was just about to finish. I remember. I would not have recognized your Arcrania name, but nice to see you again. This was really just, I can't hear you. I can see you. Are you like in the Discord or something? I don't even have Discord open, and my speakers aren't even on. But I was just about to finish up anyway. This is just kind of a test stream that just, let's see. Yeah, I'm not even, blah, 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 blah. Can you hear me? But, you know, I'm just getting settled into my new pad, and I just wanted to do a basic stream, do a basic setup. I could jump into Discord, just wanted to say hi. Well, thank you for stopping by. This was just going to be a test stream, and I ended up going for like 2 hours, so that's a good sign. I wasn't even going to have the microphone on, but it just was too weird without it. I'm going to try to stream more. Hours are going to be funky because I'm in a different time zone now, but I still stay up late at night. But thank you for stopping by. I will, we'll do some Twitch chatting more in the future. I'm liking Tucson. It's taken some while. I'm almost happy. I've been enjoying just chit-chatting with Dr. Demiology and just talking about movies and shit. It's being in Tucson is, I think the city will be good for me, but right now it's pretty lonely. I don't really know anybody. I'm getting out and I'm doing some things, but it's just going to take time to meet people. So it's nice to just talk for a little bit. I really do. It's like, it was 70 degrees out, I guess technically yesterday now, and I went for a bike ride, and I love riding my bike, and Tucson is such a bicycle friendly city. One of the reasons why I moved here. So that was pretty nice. That cheers me up to ride my bike around. Paradigm shift hills pop. Yeah, you're right. I know this well. Yeah, I knew staying in Maine, it was never gonna get better. I don't know how living in Tucson is gonna shake out in the long run, but I knew how it was in Maine, and it just wasn't gonna get better. And I was just dreading living in another winter in Maine so intensely. And I spent a big chunk of my savings to move here, but I put a lot of thought and effort into trying to find a place where I would be happy. So it seems to be going okay so far. Too early to say. But I guess I felt kind of numb the past. I think this person's shoulders are way too small, but I'll come back to it. Same way, about to sell my condo. I really want to move back to France, but I'm not sure if it's the right time for me to do that. It's, I know you have a lot of your own personal difficulties to get over, just like I had, mine problems and still do. But I don't know. If not France, then I hope you can find somewhere to go. that's a better environment for you. I'm not sure that I mean, I'm biased. I think Maine is a nightmare state, and I've always hated it. So I would say get the hell out of there as soon as you can, but that's me. It was something I worked on for like a year and a half when I started to think like maybe I can actually do this. So it took a long, long time. And I know how hard it is, and I know the hurdles that and the problems that I ran into. It's not just something that people like us who don't have people who don't fart money. Sure, my dad passed on loan, so no, I saw you made a post on Facebook about your father passing, and I'm sorry to hear that. Um, and I hope now you are at a point where you can move on. It's tough. And I saw you. Well, yeah. Uh, yeah, there's stuff like sacrifices that I'm making that are tough. Like I had to give up my cats, and I was very fortunate that where they ended up, it's a loving family. It's friends that I've known for a while who are super nice people, and they've been sending me updates, and my cats are really happy, and I'm very fortunate for that. But I do miss them. I think Lido is actually happier where he is now. He seems to be really getting along with the family. Um, I think Miette is still adjusting, but you know, and you know, other sacrifices. I don't know if I'll ever see my father in person again. I know he really wouldn't. He would hate the desert. He would hate Arizona, but he might come out to visit me. I don't ever want to go back to Maine ever under any circumstances if I can help it, because I'm terrified I'll be trapped there again. But my cats are doing well. I really miss them, but I'm glad that they're doing well and that they're happy and they're in a loving home. I was worried I would have to put them in a boarding place, and yeah, trapped is a good word. And then I'd have to like just find a way to get them into some shelter and hope that a good family adopted them. But I don't know. You probably don't know Heather and Chris Barter. Super nice people, them and their family, and they've got 2 kids who are pretty. They're familiar with cats. They understand, from what I can tell. They understand how to not terrorize cats. Some kids don't get that, but these ones seem to. Why does that keep accidentally doing that? I'm gonna have to check that. Is that better? I think that's better. I'm definitely losing all perspective, and I will definitely need to call it a night and come back to this. But I think my point was it's just hard. It's hard to make a big move like that, especially when you have personal challenges, when you don't have a lot of money. I mean, I don't know your situation, but I know, I'm assuming that you don't have a ton of money that you can just fly off to France whenever you please. Yeah, it's tough. I burned a big chunk of my savings, and that's something it's people don't want to talk about or admit to, but you can't do this shit without money. I've never been outside of the US. Even in all the time I lived in Maine, I never went to Canada. For a 2-hour sketch, how do I use my microphone with Twitch? I'm not quite sure what you mean. I don't think you can from the chat room. And well, right now I actually have my speakers turned off and I don't have my headphones in because I wasn't planning on listening to anything. I think we would have to go through Discord and then I would have to, from there, put it on my stream. But I think if you're just in my chat room, that you can't. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. At least as far as my understanding of the technology goes. But yeah, I'm getting burnt out on this stupid picture and I need to put it down. But I'm considering how low my expectations were. I had fun doing the stream. Voice to text to the chat. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I tried that once and I just found it distracting and annoying more than anything. Woke up early for test run. I thought I'd say, well, thank you for stopping by. And thank you, Doctor, for stopping by. And if there's anybody lurking, I forget that some people enjoy just lurking and watching. And I should be more considerate to them. But anybody lurking, thanks for hanging around. You don't need to make yourself known. Or even watching the video later. I think some crazy people do that too. All right, I'm going to stop the stream now. I'll try to be back soon. Have a great day. Goodbye.